Well, it's Friday. Well, it's another day. And it's a great day, is it not? Here it is. It's snowing like a bandit out there. How does a bandit snow? Well, it's snowing heavily, which is very cool. I really enjoy that. How are you? You're looking good this day. I don't care where you are. Just thank you for enriching my journey. And I trust that I can do the same for you. So I want to say, first of all, Karen, you are the Queen of Quartz. Karen's going to be on again real soon. Folks, I want to show you what I got from her. Is this not just the most beautiful stone? And it fits perfectly in your hand. And she wrote a note, and I don't have that within reach, but I'll wait till she gets on here. Hey, Brian, how are you doing? Franny, hello. Thank you, all the moderators, and welcome everyone. Skies above, how are you? You're actually sunbathing. Well, far out. That's cool. Raw Emotions, how are you doing? D-Truth, Sylvia, good to see you. Robin, Michelle, good to see you. Judy. Hello, how are you? Let's see. Ob B1 Ojabawa. How do you say that? Joseph, how are you, my friend? By the way, I hope you guys checking Joseph's channel out like you're doing all the rest. Struggle Within. Hello, Experimental Elements. Jimmy and Nino, how are you doing? I always think of Jimmy Neutron. Yeah, I like that. I enjoyed that. That was some pretty cutting edge animation. You know, they were doing that all in 3D rendering. Pretty cool stuff if you saw how it happened. Brad, how are you doing, sir? Big shout out to Anti-Popular Girl. Well, there you go, folks. Insight Lost in Space. Wayne, how are you doing? Meeting ourselves coming and going, aren't we, these days? So good to see all of you. Pure Love Ascension, love it. Is that I just want to make sure I got that. Is that Dusaika? Is that how you say that? Dusaika? Beautiful name. Nick, how are you doing, buddy? Brian, far out, bud. How are you? So here's the deal. Give me 1 second here as he goes back. Want everyone to really think about Patrick. Yeah, I was going to do a show tonight, but you know, the energy is leading me in a different direction. I'm going to have to do doing some investigative work is the best way I'll put it. But our friend Patrick, no doubt about it, he's under serious attack. Always tells me that when someone comes under that kind of intensity of attack, and not just him, you know, in the house, that's some powerful forces at work, no matter how you or what your perspective is. You know, I look at disease and sickness as a sentient spirit. I do. Disease literally means divided peace. You know, if you're sick, you're certainly not in peace. It draws so much of the vital spirit energy because the spirit has to aid the body. And sometimes the spirit gets overwhelmed and it's sad. And I have a feeling that our friend Patrick, you know, Patrick is, in fact, you have to respect the man, if anything else, a pioneer and a gentle spirit. So anyway, keep him and his wife in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, if that's where you laid, that's cool. So there you go. And we're going to work together on this. Yeah. Yeah, Franny, I know. It's amazing when you see the energy and the earth itself. I think the very solar system is being impacted, and it's obviously intensifying and manifesting itself in many different ways. Um, if you think about this, what we discuss here each day on this medium, this channel, I love it. Thank you, Brad. That's very, very good of you. That we're seeing the changes. Speaking of changes, so we talked about earthquakes, right? I want to let y'all see this, folks, just so you can see it here for yourself. This is the weird one right here. This is what they call the Northeast Pacific Rise. And as you can see, it took a 4.0 and a 6.0. And this is one of these unusual areas where these are the plates. And look the depth, folks. 10 kilometers, 10 kilometers. And as opposed to one over here in New Zealand, right here that just took place. Again, much deeper quake, 500 and 155 kilometers down. That's getting down there. But anyway, now, are we seeing something? There is a theory that says that as we continue to see the ring of fire ignite, the last portion of that connecting point would be literally the North American loop, so to speak. So there you go. And even my alert went off on this one. So there you go. It's something is afoot. And by the way, while we're on the topic, I feel like your hippy dippy weatherman here. So here is the polar jet stream, the vortex. Now it is, as you can see, been very strong over Europe, Siberia, this whole area up here. Now it's really beginning to get cranked up. It's almost like the one over the North American continent is starting to get moved. And I can tell you, folks, y'all, particularly in the Midwest and Northeast, get ready. Sunbathing in Florida will be curtailed the first part of next week. It's going to get cold. And you can see it right here for yourself. This is where those upper air currents are moving. And let's get it into miles per hour so you can get an idea. 37, 35 miles an hour. It gets faster in other areas, but there you go. Gonna get cold. Hope you're ready. Gonna go, and as much as I like winter, I also realize that it also takes fuel and energy to keep our house warm. I did on my radio show last night on the Steiger Perspective. I think one of the greater, I don't know how you put this in a diplomatic term, I think one of the greatest crimes that has been perpetrated upon the 21st century man, 20th century man, is the exploitation of having to pay for energy. Just think about this. We're going to be talking about date. What is the date? Not time, date. Sometimes we get the two. People say, well, what do you mean? A date is time. Time is relative in many different ways. But let's go back when Nikola Tesla was, in fact, alive. And let's say something happened to Edison that Edison dropped dead of a heart attack. And his investors, which was the Rockefellers and a few others, they never got away with what they did. And it was basically to enslave the world. They monopolized energy. And imagine if Tesla had gotten his way. That his experiment that he proved out here in Colorado Springs, when he went back to New Jersey and began to build the infamous tower. Imagine if the governments and the world had gone a different direction and realized that this energy was the best thing for our species. It would have led us into an era of unprecedented prosperity, unprecedented advancement in the arts, the humanities, the sciences, maybe religion. Could you imagine? And the subsequent energy technologies and industries that would have spun off of the availability of unlimited free electricity generated by Mother Earth herself. And we would be talking today in a whole different reality. And it would have been, literally, it would have been Elysium. It was what we could have, could still, I don't know, but I do know if it had taken place 100 years ago, we'd be talking a whole different reality. So in my walk, and Mark, I owe you a phone call. I'll get to you, my friend. When I left Christianity, because you see, I don't brag about it. It's no need to brag about it. There's no need to validate who and what I am. But, I was like every other devotee. You study more than the preachers do themselves. And, as you begin to get decade after decade, you become so programmed. You read the script, the scripture, and it retards and recedes free thinking. I dare say most people I know still in that doctrine really can't think for themselves. They think they do, but they don't. And the thing that I was in this whole trap is that you begin to look at dates. Dates validate everything. Date when man was created, date when the world was created, the date of the death of a supposed person that never lived, but supposed person. And then, Armageddon. People love to be afraid. They love to be scared. They don't realize there's a boomerang effect to that, but they love it. And that's why they'll go to wherever the sensational headline, the next disaster and the next, whatever, catastrophe. And anyone who studied the Bible, and any other religion, you always got your big moment, the apocalypse, the unfolding of the seals, and here are the signs to watch for, and here are the dates. When I got into the Nibiru thing, there was a cat around out there who, had spent obviously a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy in building out this whole huge timeline of Nibiru and Planet X and the dragon coming back in the sky, and that this is all foretold in the heavens. And what? You see, I bought it. You begin to look at dates. Oh, crap. We got 2 weeks before things flip upside down. No, it's going to be 2036 when we expect the return of, really? And I bought it. And then, the next thing you start getting all wrapped around the axle, and you're looking for all the kind of signs, and you're looking on the dates, and man, you're getting really into the study, and you begin to look at everywhere else, and you go like a bunch of lemmings down a blind path that you have no idea where you're going. But you got the dates. Oh, yeah, got the dates. Why? Because we got our holy book, got our book here. It's full of dates. Yeah, it is. Most of them are. That's how they try to validate themselves. But then here comes the question. What dates? Which date? It's like I ask people now. I have an interview coming up, and the whole thing that the person wants to interview me on, he said, where are you coming from? He says, you're out there now. He says, people are talking about you, that you're telling everyone that they're a God and that there is no God, any God of any religion. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He says, well, aren't you afraid? I said, afraid of what? Well, he said, there's powerful people that have a lot invested in that. I said, yeah, they do. But it doesn't negate the truth. So, again, when people say, do you believe in God? Which God? Yeah, I believe in God. I believe in me. I am God. I am one. I am one of many. I'm many of one. And every religion is predicated around that. What they do is that they do a separation that somehow or another you have to work your way back to divinity and somehow appease God to show yourself worthy of, recognition. That's warped. Never has worked, never will work. But yet, we as a species put dates. So, according to my calendar, it tells me that today is January 18th in the year 2019. That's what it says. And if you don't think that that's reality, you miss an important date like a court date. You could just put anything like that, your wedding day. You can just add whatever you want. And it becomes reality real quick. But it shows how delusional we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are a delusional species, insane, literally, figuratively, metaphorically, and allegorically. We are a species that only can believe in make-believe. We invent and play a game that we call hide and seek of reality. Today, we live in a cacophony of ideas, thoughts, energies, all coalescing, beginning to coalesce what I think is the poles of what this reality, this fabric is. So I put together a little PowerPoint for us. To all of you who pray, all you Christians, anyone who prays to a God, you are a telepath. I want to let you, I just thought I'd make that reality to whoever hears this. Apparently, there are some who are really battling where they're standing on their faith, but you think that we're crackpots here, that when we talk about, advancing the third eye, advancing our abilities of telepathic skills. Remember, all prayer is founded on telepathic skills. You cannot be involved in any religion unless you are telepathic. Okay. Man is an illusion. Man is unaware. Man, Homo sapiens, are a fool. They are the epitome of the digression of a species, thinking they're wise when they're actually very ignorant and becoming more ignorant. Modern day man is a fool by all definitions. And by all definitions, I mean however far back you want to go. This is what we are. This represents the modern day 20th century mind collective consciousness of our species. This is us right here. And it is more evident today than it has ever been. This is man, both metaphorically, spiritually, physically, cognitively. That is man. Yeah, boy, don't we have a lot to be proud of, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Does this piss you off? Does that make you mad? Get madder. Because I'm really going to start poking you, baby. By the time this is over, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to be so goddamn pissed off that you're not coming back, or you're going to go, oh man, how do we go about this? Folks, the simple reality in this insanity that we call daily life, it's all make-believe. Yeah, I know that we're immersed in physicality. I understand that we're immersed in matter and material. I get that. But that is transmutable. Everything that I just said is we're studying on the Book of Miracles, the Course of Miracles. Everything is transmutable. Everything. Man lives in a self-inflicted, self-created, self-contained, self-altered reality. Any psychologists want to come and talk on about this? Love to have you on. I know of at least 3 practicing psychologists, 1 psychiatrist that watches the channel. No matter how you do it, you see, to take a cognitive test is predicated on the function of one individual's perception of what is perceived to be reality, and then getting the affirmation of others to affirm. Very difficult in a court of law when you start bringing psychology, psychiatry, spirituality into the equation. It's like Einstein said, that's that funny stuff over there. You know, I don't want to deal with that. The best thing I can say about Homo sapiens sapiens is that we are masters at self-deception. We practice it, we enforce it, we absolutely mandate it. Everything in our society, everything in our financial, everything in our reality is predicated on self-deception. We're all deceived. We've deceived ourselves. That's why it's perpetrated. That's why the cycle continues. It never ends, baby. The only way it can end is if you take every physical bipedal life form off of this planet. Annihilate them. Either remove them, scatter them, but remove them completely. You'll stop the karmatic cycle just like that. Because any way you look at this, we are masters. We love deceiving ourselves. Your super conscience, the what is really you. You're playing a game with yourself. And the way the game is played is the game of deception, deceiving yourself. We're all masters at it. We lie. We lie to others. We lie to ourselves. It's all part of the mask. Man does not know what year it really is. Even our best, most accurate clocks are wrong. You see, and the problem is, and I'm going to show you by history, how you have accepted this. And by accepting it, you have to admit to it. This self-deception. I would say that if there was another species, which there are, superior to us, they watch us amused. Because this is one freaking circus down here. I had a visitor tell me, man runs in circles. Very few stand up and walk away. You see that? That's an atomic clock. Cesium. Watching the decay. From that, we have derived our knowledge that tells us that this is the absolute for the most accurate part of time until we built this one. Now we're on the quantum level. And you know, in spite of all that we have achieved, it's still wrong. I'm not denying the fact that, yeah, that we can measure this all the way down into the quantum. Dig it. Yeah. See it. Everything derives and arrives out of the quantum. But still, if you're predicating where your starting point is, if that's wrong, then no matter where you are in the count, you're off. Every year, we have this new thing with the modern age. We can watch New Year play out 24 times. And, you know, people get drunk, people do whatever they do. Yeah, the new year, new resolutions, new hopes, new predictions, cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. Yeah, it's like a skipping record. But the question is, which year? Remember that the year is only a number, an arbitrary number at that, considering that other calendars vary widely from the Gregorian calendar. So what year is it according to the world's other various calendars? Again, we think it's 2019. No. It is this illusion, folks, is what I'm trying to bring out. No matter what you write, no matter what you say, no matter what you believe, no matter the knowledge you're acquiring it within this illusion. The only thing that could be said that is in fact substantial is you. So the Gregorian calendar is the most widely used internationally, named after Pope Gregory the 13th. This guy, oh man, just do some studying. I go watch the Bloodline Invaders and the Godspell videos. You'll find out who this jackass was. Anyway, who introduced it in October 1852. The calendar that we all think of as definitive and immutable was itself simply an alteration of the earlier Julian calendar. The switch from the Julian to the Gregorian made it so that the equinox and solstice, wouldn't drift over time. And it got Easter back closer to the spring equinox, right where the Pope wanted it. Today, I used to do it. I see these people now it's sad. And we go through these rituals. And I used to do the crying, he's arisen, and you're walking around in this, and it's all manipulation from a sick psychopath. And that's all you can say. So when that switch happened, the world may very well have been due for a change, given that the Julian calendar had been in effect since January 1st, 45 BCE. And in 1752, in order to align with the Gregorian calendar, like the rest of Western Europe, British Parliament simply eliminated September 3rd through the 13th for everyone living in Britain and the American colonies. Don't tell me that my free thinking is so far out of touch of reality. It's more in touch with reality than what reality is in touch with. So that's how you eliminate something. Well, it didn't ever happen. Never happened. So let's play a game. All right. Y'all ready to play a game? We love playing games. Remember, this is the year of the otter. It's time for you to learn to be a child again, to learn to play games and not become asthmatic about it. Amnesia, excuse me. And that may be a one. But learn to have fun. Okay. So this is the Chinese zodiac. Chinese history's been around for a very long time. So according to and by the way, these years are correct. I did all the calculations. So the Chinese calendar, it is the year 4715. The traditional Chinese calendar is lunisolar, which means that it calculates dates according to the astronomical phenomenon. But the Chinese only use it for their traditional holidays and cultural events. They adopted the Gregorian calendar for daily use in 1912. Check another one off the list. The Julian calendar, today's date is 2019, Friday, the 19th, not the 18th. The Julian calendar was the first major calendar to move away from the lunisolar method. It was based on the Roman calendar and introduced by Julius Caesar in 46 BCE. It utilizes a 365-day, 12-month model and adds an extra day in February every 4 years. So you see, we go through this illusion even today where we know it's not accurate, but it's accurate for right now, for the moment, for the present. I'm going to talk more about that. The Buddhist calendar is the year 2561. The Buddhist calendar is a set of lunisolar calendars primarily used in the mainland Southeast Asian countries. The calendars share a common lineage, but they also have a minor but important variations. These include intercalculation schedules, month names, numbering, and cycles. Today, this traditional calendar is used mainly for festivals. You see, the tendrils, they go everywhere. The Byzantine calendar, it is the year 7527. The official calendar of the Byzantine Empire was based on the Julian calendar, with the exception that the year started on September 1st. Year one, the supposed date of creation, was September 1st, 5509 BCE. The first year in the Byzantine calendar ended on August 31st, 5508 BCE. Yeah. I continue. The Ethiopian calendar, it is the year 2011. With a solar calendar that begins on August 29th or 30th and derives from the Egyptian calendar, the Ethiopian calendar has a gap of 7 to 8 years compared to the Gregorian calendar. I mean, let's see. If you do the math on this is why I say you should always take your, well, let's just say this one. Let's just do 7 years, right? And so if we do the standard, so, that's like 2,555 days that did exist, didn't exist, might exist. Yeah. The Hebrew calendar, it is the year 5779. The year number on the Jewish calendar is a representation of the years since creation. This year was arrived at by doing some biblical math, acrobatics too. The year does not mean that the universe has existed for only some 5,700 years. There's always the fine print, folks. So here it is. Those of you who can read Hebrew, I applaud you, but there you go. All right. The Holocene calendar, it is the year 12,019. Instead of using the birth of Jesus, the Holocene calendar uses the beginning of the human era, HE, as its epoch. This is arbitrarily defined as 10,000 BC, or so that 1 AD is equivalent to 10,001 human eras. It's pretty easy. Just add 10,000 years to the Gregorian calendar, and there you have it. I always wanted to live in the future. I think it's pretty far out. I can say, well, yeah, I lived in the year 12,019. Still as screwed up as it was in the year 2019. The Islamic calendar, it is the year 1440. The Islamic calendar is based on when the Prophet Muhammad came to Medina, Saudi Arabia, in the year 622 CE. The Christian era, or AD. Each month begins when the new moon is visible to the naked eye. Okay. The Japanese calendar, and I think this is correct, Heisei, 31. The official dating system known as the Jinko has been used since the late 7th century. Years are numbered within the eras, which are named by the reigning emperor, beginning with Magia, I think it's Magia, which with each reign has been one era. But earlier emperors sometimes decreed a new era upon any major event. So no matter how meticulous you try to be, once you get the ego of a leader involved, that they take on this God complex, that they think that somehow or another they are going to imprint reality. And guess what? They do. All right, the Thai solar calendar is the year 2562. This calendar, replacing the Thai lunar calendar, was adopted in 1888 by the Siamese version of the Gregorian calendar. On September September 6, 1940, Prime Minister, and I am not even going to try to pronounce that 26-letter word, stated that January 1 of 1941 would be the start of the year 2484 BE. You know, that's the problem. We're always screwing it up. Check this one out. All right. Because now we have to include a new sentient intelligence, keeping time, because for it, time really does matter. The Unix calendar. It is the year, well, let's see how we want to do this. 151476-15463008000. The Unix is a system for calculating a point in time as defined by the number of seconds that have elapsed since January 1st, 1970. This date is the last time the system was adjusted for Coordinated Universal Time, CUT, which is the primary standard by which the entire world regulates clocks. So in essence, if you projected this out far enough, there may be an entire species, culture, religion based on the fact that the world began January 1st, 1970. Exactly how we've done it. Why wouldn't an artificial intelligence mimic us? Then you have what I call the Hindu calendars. Now, these three calendars are Hindu calendars. And you have the Yoga, the Samvat, and the Samavat, which is the Vikram and the Shaka. The Vikram Samvat is used in Nepal and some Indian states. It uses lunar months and the previous mentioned sidereal years to track time. The Shaka is used officially in India and by Hindus in Java and Bali. Its months are based around the tropical zodiac signs rather than the sidereal year, excuse me. The Kali Yoga is the final cycle within the fourth cycle of the Yoga era. Excuse me. Why? There you go, folks. The first cycle is the age of truth and perfection. The second cycle is the age of emperors and war. The third stage is the age of disease and discontent. And the third stage, the Kali Yuga, is the age of ignorance and darkness. I think that's the one we're in. According to the calendar, the world is currently in Kali Yuga. It began around 5,000 years ago and thought to have a 4,072,000 year duration. We are in the year of ignorance and darkness. I think we read somewhere else. Oh, yeah, Phoenix Rising. So there you go. It just goes to show we don't know what the year is. I mean, we really don't. And if you're looking to do anything, prophecy, dates, you have to say, well, that's just made up based upon our perception of a date. Couldn't stand the scrutiny. And it just gets back into this whole thing of how we perceive ourselves and our reality. I think I saw Donna who wrote at the very beginning of here that it's hard to determine what is real and what is not. It really is. That's when, for myself, when I began to realize, and I'll explain it very succinctly, no matter what God is or is not, it's really not that important. The fact that people believe in such is. And the fact that they believe in such means that we're talking a spiritual existence that transcends the physical. And there it springs off. But the point is, we're all spirits. Now, we're going to do next week a thing on the soul. But I think we can all agree that we're spirits. Well, as I've told you before, as Captain Kirk said, what would God need for the starship? Jeff does that pretty good. The fact is, we're all spiritual beings. You see, one of the things I learned in Christianity, and I could quote you chapter and verse, but that's not important. It said, and it was always one of those mystery things to me. It says, without him, nothing was created that was not created. All things were created by him, through him, and in him. Okay? Well, that right there says that God, is everywhere. That's why I said to you the other day, there is no hell. If hell exists, then God made it. He's there. It's there. Heaven can't exist because if you have perfect peace, you're dead, baby. You're dead spiritually. We got into that. We're alive. It never stops. I had this dream last night, and it was strange. I was out of my body, but I kept on seeing this container. And when we move on, there will be another container. That moment that you're aware of your spirit, soak it up. Because apparently we have this inert desire to get back into some form of physicality. And I've said before, physicality has to exist on multiple planes. It can't exist merely in this temporal plane. But then again, it gets back to time. And it shows you that time is a made-up construct. It truly is. And once we begin to realize this, we are ourselves the creator of our own time. No matter whether I can look at a clock and you and I both wear a watch and we're sitting in, the airport ready to board the plane and we're both looking at our clock, you and I are looking at two different times. We're basing time on a arbitrary marker. And for you, time may be dragging on. For me, time is going too fast. So that's what we're doing with today. Someone says, what does the t-shirt look like? It's mine. It says that I know the voices in my head aren't real, but you know what? They have great ideas. They do. So I hope this is helping. It helped me when I began to just connect the dots. It's not that diff. And I'll tell you what'll happen. We're going to talk about on another show, the present, the now. But I want you to think about your present, right? Hear me out on this. Your present is actually, look at the word, it's pre-sent. You pre-sent yourself with the now. Us Isbies, we know what that means. It's like we're always there. It's amazing. You can actually, as I said, send yourself a message in a bottle. I think we do. In many ways. All right, folks. I hope this has helped. I mean, for me, it just helps to put things in a way that I truly believe that if we can get over some of these traps, it'll stop dividing us. We will begin to unify ourselves on the simplest of a foundation. But we have to get out of some of these other things. It's kind of weird, isn't it? And the guys those forces, that have this perception of power in this realm, they're a nasty lot. They are. Well, thank you, Mother Nature. It's very kind of you. Just sharing the wealth, baby. Just sharing the wealth. Passing it on. Because when you see a soul, a spirit that can smile, that's when they're going to start radiating light. We got a lot of darkened spirits right now. They're all spirits, but, well, maybe not all. But you'll always be able to tell the ones that have that light. And it's because you begin to find that inner peace. You begin to realize it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Religion, status, perceived power, wealth, it really doesn't matter. And when you get there, you see death doesn't matter. Death is just no different than taking a breath. It doesn't matter. This plane holds nothing for me anymore. Yeah, I'm taking the ride while I'm here. But when the number is called, you know what I'm doing? The thing I'm going to say is far freaking out. Let's get it on, baby. I'm going to have that expression. I'm going to walk out the screen door. I'm not going to let it hit me in the ass leaving either. I'm out. But in the meantime, there's just this. It's like sometimes we're trying to clear a path. We're all on the path. We're just all looking at each other and going, all right, is he going to go first or what? No, we'll push him out first. And then that's how it works. So, man, let's get it done. Yeah, I agree with you, Mother Nature. Let's get it done. It's time to, folks. And you don't want to come back through here. Because technically, let me just put it this way. I hear the thoughts of some of you saying, yeah, but I'd like to see what would it be like in the year 2500. And guess what? If it continues the way it is, you most likely will. Depends. I mean, if the current way of thinking in most philosophical, and I would say theological constructs, you will. Can I just say something to you? I used to think of heaven as this place where, the streets were paved with gold. I was going to have my own mansion and didn't have a clue what the hell I was going to do, but, go up there and worship God all the time. And that's, I used to think about it all the time. Okay, I got the welcoming committee part, but what do you do after this? And then you start reading about all the supposed stories of people who went to heaven and came back. Not one story is ever the same. Okay. All right, maybe it's kind of, different for each person. And then I began to think, well, now wait a minute. How would a 5th century person here I come along. I say, yo, how you doing? He looks at me and says, who the hell are you? I guess you can't say hell in heaven. What else? He wouldn't. Where would we have any commonality? Our cultures are different. Our perceptions of reality are different. How could we have the same perception of God? How could we be in the same place, existing in what could only be described as an artificial construct. I don't know. These are the things that I think about. So, all right, folks, y'all are the best. I think Brian, maybe Milky Way Weekly, has a show on tonight over there. And wherever y'all have one, tune in. Be good to yourselves. Enjoy the weekend. I have some investigative work to do, and I got a lot of reading to catch up on. So I'll see you all on Monday. And in the interim, who knows, maybe sooner. Love yourselves, my friend. Thank you for adding to my journey. Your energy and your presence has made me a spirit of great wealth. And the only way that wealth is sustained is when it's passed on and shared. And so I share to you what you've given into me. And hey, I think we're getting it. Thank you, Karen. Karen, look at that stone. Is that just the most beautiful? This is the one you sent, hon. I've been holding it in my hand the whole time that I've been on here. It fits perfectly. I mean, it really does. Okay, Scotty, give me some more power. But anyway. Hope it's helped. Y'all are the best. And next week, we're going to get some people. I'm going to get Kaz on here, and we'll get some. Favorite to you, my love. Karen, you're the best, sweetheart. Thank you. And all the rest of you. Hi, Maggie. Good to see you, dear. All right, folks. Be good to yourselves. We'll see you real soon. Favor. I invoke favor upon every one of you. Nothing missing, nothing broken in your lives. And full restoration. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it, folks. I'm sensing it. We're building it up. The energy that we continue to add to those two words, favor, restoration, it builds up. It does. All right. Favor to you, you beautiful thing, you. Talk to you soon.